Hi, everybody. My name is Rita Crumpton, also known as the Inventor Lady. And over the last week or so, I've had a conversation with one of my potential clients about how to pick an attorney. And over the last 20 years, I've dealt with lots of attorneys. I am married to an attorney. He's taught me most of what I know about attorneys and picking the right one. So, first of all, parameters. Attorneys are service providers, right? They are going to charge you. You are billable time. You're their meter, right? Keep that in mind. You are the boss because you're paying the bill. Right? So you get to set the parameters. They give you suggestions. You make business decisions. That's straightforward. So within that context, what's going on? So the big variable is hourly rate, right? I've got attorneys I've dealt with, the registered patent attorneys I've dealt with go anywhere from basically $190 an hour to $650 an hour. Some are even higher, believe it or not. The amount of time it takes is very similar. All right. So when you're looking at that big variable, all right, hourly rate. So I get it, clients that will say, well, I want to go and see him in person. No, not really. All right. You are on the clock. And when you tell me, it's like, well, they charged me for an hour and we spent 30 minutes talking about family, sports, and weather. It's like, yeah, you're on the clock, right? Pay attention. All right. For a lot of attorneys, and I know they're going to hate me saying this, but you need to be aware. The fact that they want to be the one pulling the shots. All right. When you get an attorney that says, oh, I become your partner. No, they're not your partner. All right. Your billable time. Okay. You're the client. And if you are going to pay that invoice when you get it, you get to be in charge, right? They don't get to randomly send you an invoice at the end of the month, but you are billable time, right? When I'm working with a client and they want to bring in an attorney, that's not unusual that they want an attorney to look at the agreement, all right? When they start really changing the agreement, it's like, no, that doesn't work. But you, the client, get to make the final decision, all right? It is really, really important to understand attorneys do not become your partners. You are billable time, right? But the other big one that we run into is when the attorney says, oh, I'll do this. I want to invest in you. I want to help you out. No, they want to eat a piece of you, all right? Keep your attorney as billable time as the client relationship, client service provider, so that you've got some power in it, all right? So that you are the decision maker in it. You are the only one. You gather information and you make your best decision, right? My attorney said, oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how often, my attorney said, my mother said, all right, don't forget to wear your coat. My attorney said, no, I am not working with the attorney as the client. I work with you, the inventor, right? You keep your attorney as the service provider and you make the decision. That's just like if you were working with an engineer, all right? You are the client. You get to tell them, it's like, all right, no, I want it done this way, not that way. And he tells you, it's like, all right, advantages, disadvantages. Same thing when you're dealing with the attorney. Your attorney should be saying, if you word it this way, advantages, disadvantages, and you, the paying client, get to make the decisions. When I'm working with you and we're negotiating a deal for a licensing deal, I tell you exactly what is in between the lines in the agreement, but you make the final decision. It's like, oh my goodness, in this agreement that I got back from the attorney, not from the client, all right, it was saying, well, you can't do anything without the client's approval. It's like, you think? All right, of course not. Of course not. So again, when it comes to your dealing with your attorney, you need to keep in mind, all right, you're the client, you're in charge, you make the final decisions. All right, so let's go back to the idea of negotiating a licensing deal. A licensee rarely brings their attorney to the table, all right? You can bet they're there though. They probably have multiple attorneys reading and preparing the document. The document is just something to start conversation for negotiations. Rarely is there anything that's etched in stone that cannot be changed. The documents are just a starting point. So based on the industry, the relationship, how far you are in the process, a lot of things are negotiable. All right. So when you take that deep breath and you figure, okay, I'm talking now to the representative of the company, you need to assume they've got multiple attorneys in the background. Your attorney needs to stay in the background too. All right. When you bring your attorney to the table to discuss a licensing deal, they bring their attorney to the table. Now it becomes a tug of war between two frickin' attorneys, excuse me, and guess what? You get to pay the bill, all right, whether there's a deal made or not. And that's the scary part, all right? For this client, is that this attorney wants to be your licensing agent, not me. We are being, with this agreement, being put at odds against each other. Doesn't work for me. I will walk away from it, right? Keep in mind, when you bring those attorneys to the table and they are visible, it's just a tug of war with egos. You can put one contract in a room and 5 attorneys, and there will be 5 different versions of it by the end of the day, because they all want to have the last say. Every attorney is that way. Now, when I say every attorney, I'm talking about every cranky attorney. I've got really good ones that say, no, the way it is that the client makes the final decision. Those are the attorneys you want to find and work with, right? That is what I learned from my husband. The attorney makes the suggestions. The client makes the final decision. The attorney gives advantages and disadvantages to different options in an agreement. The client makes the final decision. You make the final decision based on what's good for you, and what is good for you may not be good for everyone. Hence the reason why you, as the paying client, get to make the final decisions based on what's good for you. All right. When I am working with someone as a licensing agent, all right, we are talking to the licensee. I'm not an attorney. All right. There's no incentive for them to bring their attorney to the table to do a tug of war for billable time. I don't charge you by the hour. I get paid when you get paid. Attorneys are not that way. They get paid now. Most of them charge a retainer or a monthly fee to you to be there whenever you want them to be there. Oh my goodness, don't go there. That's silly. Pay them when you need them. Ask them how much it's going to be. All right. So that you've got a ballpark idea of what's going on. They don't get to send random invoices. As the client and the one receiving the bills and paying that hourly billable rate, you need to have some control. But the only way to get the control is to take the control. If that attorney doesn't like it, find a new one. There's lots of them out there, right? So, deep breath, all right? Your attorney is like any other service provider. Okay? Talk to them, find out how they work, find out what their rates are, find out what going parameters are on different projects. There are fairly standard parameters on how long it takes to do something, right? Ask, right? Attorneys are not God. There's a lot of jokes out there. Probably a reason for that. If you have any questions about how to choose an attorney, you give me a call. I've had some experience. My name is Rita Crompton. Join us at one of our monthly meetings. We've got all of America, rural America, if you cannot get to a local meeting, starting in July on the 3rd Thursday. And then we have the regular Colorado, Utah meeting on the 2nd Thursday. So join us. They're online, on Meetup and on the website. So you can find us very easily. Talk to you later.